Hello and welcome back to Spender Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is The Mandalorian, Season 1, Episode 2, Chapter 2, The Child. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, that actually dropped around, I think, midnight last night, my time. And I was kind of looking for it. I was hoping it was going to drop at 9 o'clock my time, but no, for some reason, I guess it dropped at like 3 a.m. Eastern time, which is kind of a weird time to drop it. But hey, what do I know? So I ended up watching it early this morning before work, before I went in. So yeah, it was kind of fun. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm going to do a little bit of business first. If you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the little bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you of when I'm on, but it is sometimes it does happen. You can go to my website, suspenderfanimation.com, see the schedule up there. I change it out every week. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page. Speaking of Facebook, I also have a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram. I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tier set as of yet, which will happen at the end of this year, beginning of next year. There we go. I am not the target audience for the show. I have spoken. I want to use that actually in meetings, is I'm just going to say something and just say I have spoken. I wonder how long that'll last. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch the episode. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the groovy new paddle. Yes. There we go. So, half hour episodes is what we're getting here. 40 minutes, half an hour, somewhere around there. Um, I don't know. The pacing on them are kind of weird. I think so the first time I watched one of these episodes, I watched the first episode twice. First time I watched it, I was kind of like, eh. The second time I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good. First time I watched this episode, I was kind of eh. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it again to see if it was, thinking back on it, it's got some cool scenes in it. I read a review online that said it's like someone like a little kid playing in a Star Wars sandbox. It's the stuff that you always thought about as a kid and wanted to put into see it, in action, and that's kind of what they're doing. It's all the side stuff that we never really got to see in Star Wars because they're always focused on the Skywalkers for the most part. And yeah, so let's get into this, huh? Um, we have Mando, the Mando with no name, walking with the baby Yoda, and that's what we're calling him as Baby Yoda because there's no other way of describing it. And he's trying to make his way back to his ship called the Crest, excuse me, when some other bounty hunters ambush him and attack him, and he kills all of them. Yeah, he kills them pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, the Bosk looking one makes a run for the kid and he takes out his blaster, which, by the way, is called an Ambin Phaser Pulse Blaster, is what that thing is, the big rifle looking thing, and just poof, blows him up. Yeah, takes care of him. So he gets back to the Razor Crest, only to find out a bunch of filthy Jawas climbing all over the damn thing, and they've stripped the shit out of it. And he's up high, up on the mountain there, up on the cliff, and he just starts blasting at these Jawas, and they're just exploding like poof, poof, and they start screaming. They go back into the sand crawler and make a run for it, and he starts running after them. And so the baby's bassinet floats. It's got an anti-grav thing, and he's got it set so that it actually follows him. And as he's running after the Jawa, after the sand crawler, the baby's bassinet is following along with him. And he jumps up onto it and starts climbing it as it's moving. And the Jawas open up ports and they're just throwing shit down at him. They're throwing all kinds of parts down at him and all that stuff. And he gets up onto the side there, and the Jawas see they're coming towards a cliff face, and they try and do an Indiana Jones with him to kind of, shear him off the side of the sand crawler, by running against the cliff face there. And of course, he does what Indiana Jones did and rolled up on. Well, the Indy was kind of trapped on the tank there, but he rolls up on top of the sand crawler in the little tiny outlet. alcove as they go by. So he ends up using his grappling hook to get up to the top. He finally gets up there, even though they're sawing off the little thing that he's hanging off of, and he finally gets up to the top and runs into a whole bunch of Jawas, and they've all got blasters, and they shoot him, and he goes flying off the top of the sand crawler all the way down to the bottom, and he gets knocked out with a baby bassinet sitting right next to him. Yeah. So he wakes up and starts, he's got a little cut on his arm, and his armor's a little bit fucked up. So he's out there trying to fix all this stuff, and the baby is floating next to him in the bassinet. And he's got a little campfire going. And as he's trying to fix his arm, the baby gets out of the bassinet and tries walking towards him. We can see it's got its hand out and looks like he's trying to use the force in order to heal him. But he just picks up the baby again, is like, puts him back in the bassinet, goes and sits back down. And again, the baby comes towards him again with its hand out. He grabs it again, puts it back in. I thought it was kind of funny. And yeah, he gives up on trying to fix the wound because his equipment is all fucked up from being hit by multiple blasts of blasters there. So he's got nothing at this point. He goes back to the ship. He tries starting it up, and the ship, of course, is just cannibalized. The thing is stripped. And so he ends up going over to talk to Kuel. Kuel? Yeah. The Ugnaught that he knows there. And he tells Kuel what happens, and he goes, I know these Jawas. He goes, we're gonna need something to barter to get your stuff back. But and Mando's like, but it's my stuff. He goes, you're gonna need something to barter with them. I have spoken, you know. Um, so he ends up taking him over there, and the Jawas are not happy to see Mando at all. And Kuel even says that he's like, yeah, they're not really happy to see you. He goes, well, it could be because I vaporized a few of them. And they're like, oh, you're gonna need to leave your weapon there and your blaster. And he does so, and so what they want is they want his Beskar armor in exchange for his parts back. And he's like, fuck no, that's not happening. Something else. And so they start saying the egg. And then they start chanting the egg, the egg, the egg, which reminded me of Galaxy Quest with the little creatures that were chanting the rock, 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 rock. It was the same scene. I thought it was just kind of funny that they had done that. It did make me laugh. So he ends up going over to this cave with the bassinet still following him, mind you. And he's riding in the Jawa and the sandcrawler getting over there, and they of course have the ceilings really low, and he's tall, so he keeps bumping his head whenever they hit a bump, and they're laughing at him. So he gets off, he goes into the cave, he's looking around with his light, and what he sees is a gigantic eye, and he gets flung back out of the cave. And we see it's something that looks like a giant reek, but it's not a reek. It's actually called a mudhorn because it lives in the mud and has a gigantic horn like a rhino. And he tries, hitting it with blasters. That doesn't work. He gets a blaster knocked out of his hand. He gets knocked a couple of times back to the point where his armor on his chest plate is bent and going like this, it's pretty bent out, a shape there. And so one of the final hits, he gets knocked back pretty far. Uh, and it starts going after the baby bassinet. And he has a little remote control that he can move the bassinet out of the way. And then the Reek is charging him for a final charge. It's basically going to kill him at this point. And we see little baby Yoda reach out its hand and close its eyes and concentrate. And we see the Reek stop in its place. It's still running a little bit in place. And then it floats up into the air. And that gives Mando enough time to get out his pocket knife that he's got, actually his boot knife, and he walks up to the side of it, and little baby Yoda can only hold it for so long, and the mudhorn falls to the ground, and Mando just shoves it into, I guess, its ear, the pocket knife, and the mudhorn dies. I mean, literally, it's a knife about this big, and he shoves it into this gigantic thing that's about as big as an elephant and kills it. I was like, all right, sure, why not? And by the way, Baby Yoda is passed out now at this point because he used up all his force, I guess, at this point and passed out. So Mando goes into the cave and he finds a furry egg in the mud, pulls it out, brings it over to the sandcrawler, which the sandcrawler at this point, the Jawas are getting ready to take off because he's been taking so long out there. And they finally, they're getting ready to start up the sandcrawler, and they stop and they open up the door again. They grab the egg and they're chanting the egg, and they chop off the top of the egg and they all start eating the yolk. They reach in with the yolk and are eating the yolk and just being greedy little fuckers that they are. So they give him all his parts back, and they're sitting outside. He and Kuel are sitting outside with the baby, outside of the Razor Crest, and he's like, "This is going to take 5 days with the team to put this shit back together again." And Kuel's like, "No, if you help, this will go quickly." And so we have a montage of them building the ship back up again. I was kind of hoping they were going to have like an '80s song, "You're the best around," as they're building this thing, but they didn't. I was kind of hoping about that. And then they end up, of course, they're done. He tests out the ship. It looks like it's working. And he asks Kuel, he goes, "I'll give you half of the bounty for helping me out." And he's like, "No, no, I don't need it." He goes, "You brought peace to the valley now." He goes, "Everything's good." Uh, and he goes, "Well, why not?" He goes, "I could use somebody like you on board. Do you want to come on board?" He goes, "No, man." He goes, "I came here for peace. I don't want to, serve under anybody anymore. I'm good. Go on, take off. Thanks, man." And so he ends up, he asks about the baby actually and says, "Oh, how's the kid doing?" And he goes, "He's still asleep." And they both don't mention anything about the Force at all. Like it was no big deal. Either they haven't seen the Force or whatnot. I don't know. Um, or heard about it or anything like that because no one says, they neither of them say anything about it. So Mando gets on board the ship. He's got the kid's bassinet floating next to him. He takes off, goes into space, and as he's in orbit, they're getting ready to make the jump. The kid finally wakes up and kind of gurgles a little bit, and he takes off, and that's where we leave off on the episode. So, yeah, I mean, fairly. Uh, I mean, we didn't have any talking really until he ends up going, for the episode's only 30 minutes long, and I think the first 15 minutes until he goes and sees Kuel that we never hear anybody speak. So again, it's one of those things where we're not hearing people speak. Was it a bad episode? No, it wasn't a bad episode. It was good. It's different. This is it's following like the old Western themes, and we already knew this is where we were going with this. Someone asked, "Is Baby Yoda a clone?" Could be. He's 50 years old. Yoda at this point has been dead for 5 years. Is that right? Yeah, 5 years. So was this something that Palpatine had put together to kind of clone one of the strongest Force users in the galaxy outside of Vader? Uh, and to see if maybe he can control it or inhabit the body, since we know that Emperor Palpatine, at least in the extended universe, can inhabit clones. Um, why he would want to be the short little green dude, I don't know, but maybe it's the midichlorians. We don't know. Is it a baby that was the result of Yaddle getting busy with Yoda, or some other member of their species, and she put him in hiding before she sacrificed herself, which also was part of books that are no longer canon, but could be because Disney owns them and whatnot. Yes, getting the Yasti on, as Joe says. Yes. Baby Yoda comes from Krypton's same bed. Yeah. BD says, "Thought it looked and sounded good, but was too sparse in terms of interactions with more characters." I agree with you, BD. There's some stuff that was lacking. Um, it's better on a second watch. I'll say that. It really is. That's what I'm finding out. This episode was directed by Rick Famuyiwa. 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 There we go. I had to wrap my mouth around that one. That just sounded wrong, but you know what I'm talking about, around the words. I had to wrap my mouth around the words, that's what it was. God, yeah. So, we don't know exactly what no, Joe, no. We don't know what, Baby Yoda is. If he is real, if he is a clone, he's real. I mean, is he a product of the old In and Out, or is he a clone? Did he grow in a vat someplace? We don't know for sure. Uh, and what the client wants with him, we don't know. Right now, the baby's just being called the asset, as the client called him, because we don't know who he is. We don't know if he's part of the old empire or what. We also don't know the Mando's name and also what his sigil is, because his sigil has been hidden as well. He hasn't revealed it. Why is that? That's another thing we haven't figured out. So, yeah, there's a couple different things that are going on. And then also, who hired IG-11 and the other bounty hunters? Because IG-11 had different orders. He had orders to kill the kid, not bring the kid in alive. Yeah. Yes, it does remind me very much of an animated series. But you know what? I'm okay with it being live action like this. This is fine. The only thing that I have, and I know other people have had problems with too, is they're focusing on the helmet a lot. But when you don't have anything to emote with, because you're in a helmet, all you're seeing is a static image. And there you go. The Empire does not exist, Marks. So there might be another faction out there that used to be Empire as well. I actually know a little bit about what's going on because I had read an Entertainment Weekly article, and I wish I hadn't. Because also I know of another character that's coming in, uh, played by actually a fairly good actor. And yes, I'm not going to say anything more than that. But yeah, you don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. Yes, it is the same Clint Eastwood static image. I agree with you, Joe. So, yeah, looking forward to next week. So now it's on Fridays, is what it is, which kind of screws me up with Titans. As you can see, I've pushed Titans back. Titans is now on at 7:15. It's going to be at 7:15 tonight. Excuse me, because I have about 10 more minutes left I need to watch of this week's episode of Titans, and then I can do Titans, drop Titans. I've got 3 episodes left, Marks. 2 episodes left after this. So, I mean, yeah, everyone's saying drop Titans. I'm not dropping Titans. I've got 3 episodes left. That's what I'm going to do. And then also, I have the poster giveaway for Titans as well. So I want to get rid of that post. I mean, I want to give that poster out to a lucky somebody out there. Yeah, the new music is slow. It's think of Western, like an old Western music. That's what it is. It's based off of that, but it's supposed to be kind of sci-fi-y in a way. So I agree with you, Stanley. It's a little bit different. Yeah, Titans is hit or miss. This episode of Titans, let's just say it's gonna be a fun one. Yeah, come on in for the snark, I guess you could say, and the dick jokes, because that's what's gonna happen on Titans today. Um, the whole show will be Space Cowboys. It will be, but they're not gonna use the song Space Cowboy. Yeah. Your boy was back. Who was that, Joker? It reminds me of a little of oh yeah, a little bit. Penn Farm Girl. I got stuck at work and barely had time to watch Titans. I watched Titans because I forgot about Mandalorian dropping tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, Penn. Yeah, Mandalorian was actually better than Titans. It's yeah, I'll get into it. Oh, Ian, yeah, Ian G, yeah. The not Bruce Wayne. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, trust me, I will get into that shit tonight. So, Yeah, you're in for a good one tonight on that one. I was actually just doing up my schedule, and good God, it's a fucking mess. It really is. Yeah, it is a double header. So yeah, Sundays I have a double header going on as well until I think it's the week before Thanksgiving. No, it's the week of Thanksgiving. So the week of Thanksgiving is my last double header, and then after that, it goes back to just Mr. Robot for a couple of weeks. This one is going to end as a double header because Titans ends after episode 13, and The Expanse. I was looking at The Expanse. Since The Expanse drops all at once, it drops on a Friday. I'm not doing it on a Friday. I'm moving it over to like a Tuesday, I think is what it is, a Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. And I don't blame you, Viking bitch. This season's better than last season, but not by much. It's every time that you think they're going to take a step forward, they take 5 steps back. And it's like, son of a bitch, you know? Yeah. But we're here talking about the Mandalorian, is what we're here talking about. And let me see how much time I got on here. Yeah. I'll pad it out like another 10 minutes. And that way there's something for everyone to see. Um, yeah, so Dave Filoni and I didn't know Dave Filoni was co-executive producing this with Favreau. I thought Favreau was the only one, doing that. See ya, Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, don't bother watching this thing because otherwise it'll spoil the shit out of it for you. CYA. Oh, see ya later. Got it. I was cover my ass. Why should I cover my ass for what? What did I do? What did you see me do that I didn't know about? But and just a reminder, tomorrow for Saturday morning blast off, it's not going to be Saturday morning blast off. It's going to be Saturday afternoon blast off because Daddy's got to get himself some Comic Con tickets. And yeah, I got to fucking wait in that virtual waiting room again online and hopefully get tickets this time around. I did sign up for the press passes. They do have me in as those press passes, but they're going over my credentials right now. So no, it's still SBO Morks. No, it's at 12:30. I have it up on my schedule. Everything on the schedule is correct right now, time wise. I fixed it again somewhere around like 1 o'clock this afternoon. I was like, when the fuck can I do Titans? And I was like, and I was doing the math. I'm like, okay, that's where I can do it. Is right there. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, Penn, they have a guideline of things. I had to put everything in order before I sent it out to them. And it's kind of funny if I look at my profile on uh Comic Con's website, on the member website, they gave me a press badge on there, but they still say I'm pending at the moment, that they're looking at my credentials. So we'll see if I get a press pass or not. Fingers crossed. I still have to pay for the ticket no matter what. It's just I did call myself daddy, Viking bitch. I called myself daddy a while back. I'm glad you caught that one. It just makes up for the saccharine sweet bullshit you put on Facebook that I saw earlier. There you go. That's how I feel whenever I see those things that you guys, should be sharing amongst yourselves instead of bringing me into it. Yeah, that's all I'll say. No, you won't see it, Pen. It was a message between the 3 of us, and yeah, it didn't need to be between the 3 of us, it needed to be between the 2 of them. So, that's all I'm gonna say. Dennis's profile links are not very reputable website. No. You need to have a certain amount of time on doing these kind of things. I'm not discouraging true love. I'm just saying that I don't need to see it. I really don't. um, yeah, it's just they have a certain criteria marks that I had to show them. I had to give them links to videos Uh, uh, well, supposedly I'm kind of pressed at the moment. Then you have a chance of your data being leaked, like with E3. Yeah, I don't have any data that is worth leaking anyway. And you know what happens when you get older? You leak a little bit anyway as you get older. Just in case, I just want to give you a preview of what's to come there, Stanley. Is that TMI? Maybe. Um, so where was I? Oh yeah, Comic Con. So tomorrow it's gonna be later. Comic Con. Yes, it is called Discharge. It really is. Um, Tomorrow is gonna be a little bit later for Comic Con. And God, what else? Harley Quinn is coming out. The animated Harley Quinn's coming out on the 29th. So that is also a Friday. I'm not doing a threefer on Friday. I'm actually going to move Harley over to. I think I'm doing it that Saturday afternoon, and then I believe I'm moving it to the middle of the week. Yeah. Uh, oh, I know Viking bitch. That's what the mute button's for. That's what's nice about it. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, go and watch the Mandalorian. I almost said the Mandolin. That's a different movie altogether. Go and watch The Mandalorian. It's fun. Also, there's a lot of other shit on Disney Plus. There's a lot of other shit. People are complaining. There's a lot of stuff that people are complaining about. What was it? Gizmodo, I think it was, posted a article saying uh, Disney Plus is embarrassing. I think is what they said, and it's just because of the hangups they've been having about millions of people trying to rush in to see shit all at once and crashing their servers. And that's what happens when you start a new fucking app. And I'm like, no, if you want to see something that's embarrassing, take a look at Apple TV Plus. The programs that they opened up with and the amount that they're charging is really fucking embarrassing. So I'm getting on a place in a week. Uh, okay. Well, there we go. I'm not even gonna ask. So with that said, yeah, I think I'm good on this one. I'm going to let you guys go for now. And yeah, Star Wars is the new spaghetti western. It is the Mando with no name. And I will see you in a little bit, probably 7:15 for Titans is what I'm guessing. I'm gonna set that up and then go and watch this shit, finish up my notes, and then come on back. So with that said, thank you everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. Also, if you're on the fence about joining up, at the very end of this video, you're going to see a video pop up here that is taken from my vast video library based on all the shit you've been watching on YouTube, and they match it as close as possible. That's going to pop up there. Up here is going to be what now? His Dark Materials? Was that the last thing I did? No, it was The Mandalorian. That's right. The Mandalorian, the first episode is going to be up there. There we go. And yes, there are a lot of dick jokes coming up at 7:15. So come on by for the dick jokes, if anything else. With that said, thank you, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Take a look on Facebook. Take a look at suspendedfanimation.com for the schedule, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. Thank you, everybody. I will see you in a little bit. Thank you out there watching. And thank you to all the new subscribers as well. And I will see you in about half an hour. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may have a whole bunch of filthy fucking Jawas shouting that they want an egg. And you might have to give it to them just to get your shit back. Thanks, everybody. See you in a little bit. Good night.